So let's talk about the simplicity of lag putting or distance control. There's three things that affect it. One is I have to hit it solid, so we got that obviously. The other is the length of my stroke. How long is my stroke? And the third thing is the pace of my stroke. Do I stroke it like this? Do I stroke it like, like that? How do I do it? If we can control those variables, then our distance control is going to be immeasurably better. So what I have on my collar here is a metronome. And I've just set it at 75, which is just about average. And we're going to learn to make strokes in an equal pattern. And when I do this in clinics, and when you do this with your team, just set them in a circle and let them make strokes to that beat pattern. And eventually you're going to get to the point where you can make strokes, right, to the beat pattern. And when you make a stroke to that beat, and it's the consistency, we'll go red to red, then those putts should be about exactly the same length. Because I've got the same amount of force, same amount of speed, same amount of stroke length, just like that. So this is going to help your distance control. It's called a stroke meter. You work on a lot of drills that have to do with shorter putts and all the way to longer putts. It's the same tempo, but you need to know what that tempo is, and that's where the metronome really comes in. So let's talk about build and speed control. I've got two pieces that I want to show you right here. This is called a cup cap. It's really thin, slightly larger than the size of the cup because sometimes we want to lay it over the top of the cup, but in the center of it there is a cup. And here's the idea. We're working on speed control with these because, first of all, when I put a cup in play, all of a sudden the only thing that matters is making the putt. When I simply with these, I'm trying to hit the cup cap, but I want to see how far it rolls, if it gets to the cup cap and how far it rolls, because if I can learn to control my speed like that or so, regardless of where I am building this tremendous eyesight. That would be short, right? But I'm building this eyesight that has to do with perfect speed. Then my reads are correct. The cup cap is very important for that concept. The second part is I've thrown down a 6-foot circle. Now here's the idea. And with your kids, you can do a bunch of these. I throw down the circle someplace accessible around the putting green if you don't have a lot of space. And the idea is I've thrown a bunch of balls around the outside edges. Now I have one putt to try to get it in the circle. And I'm starting to get the idea that I'm trying to get it in that circle because I'm 35 or 40 feet here. But if I can get it in that 6-foot circle, then theoretically, theoretically, I'm going to have that 3-footer that I can make. The idea with this drill is that every putt is unique, and it just gets me in the habit of making good solid strokes. So throw the 6-foot circle down. You need a target. Lots of games, lots of fun. Kids will love this. But boy, those two things, with the cup cap and the 6-foot circle, speed gets a lot better. It's a lot of fun to practice, and it will make you sharper. So when we talk about distance control, the three things are tempo of the stroke, length of the stroke, and hitting it solid, especially from long range, because what ends up happening sometimes is we kind of get a lot of movement down here, we get the head coming up, and we don't hit the ball in the center of the face. We call it changing the radius of the stroke. Instead of starting here and returning it there, we start there and then maybe come up. The best tool I've ever seen to help me hit those longer putts solid, which creates consistent, predictable distance control, is what we call the pendulum rod. The pendulum rod on the back of the putter comes into my sternum, which would essentially go through my chest and be in between my shoulder blades on my spine, which is the fulcrum of my stroke. When I keep that distance the same, the putter starts here and it returns to there, regardless of how long the stroke is. And when it comes to 40-footers or 50-footers or even 30-footers sometimes, if I get a little jumpy, I'm not going to hit it solid. With the putting rod, if I get a little jumpy and go like that, I can see it, or if I flip it, or if I bring the putter way out of plane, it'll fall loose. But as long as you help your students and help your players get in that situation where they got the putting rod, they can hit long putts. It's a distance roll. You can share clearly the pendulum rod. What the guys on the tour do and what we do is I just get it to their length and mark it so that it's the same for them every time. Just help them get into that habit. When they walk to the putting green, grab the tools that they need, go hit 15 or 20 putts with a putting rod. No target, just hit them 40, 50 feet, whatever that may be. They'll start hitting them solid. Big piece of the puzzle for lag putts. Boy, the piece of the lagging it close is really fun, and you're gonna make some putts if you do it like this as well, but man, getting it on the right line with the right speed is critical. So we use the path gates, and here's the idea. There's only two things that you really need to do well. One is I use a piece of sidewalk chalk and I put a dot down so that I'd hit every putt from that same dot. If I don't, then all my lines are wrong. I find the line that I want to hit it on, and I set my targets up so that basically if I hit it with speed, in this case maybe it goes by the hole 18 inches or so, I want to start it at the white dot in the center of the small one, and I've got the 8-inch gate out there at about 8 feet. I got the other gate that's much bigger, the 12-inch gate, about halfway to the hole, but it gives me a lot of latitude for how hard I want to hit it. More break, I play it in this case because it's going right to left. I'm going to play it out there to the right. You get the idea. Here's what happens. My visualization gets a lot better. The fun factor of what I'm doing with my practice gets a lot better, and my speed control gets a lot better. Because I've got the right read. And what'll happen is with the kids, they're gonna learn to see this line a lot better, and they're gonna have a lot of fun with it. Whoops. And if they hit that putt, they're gonna say, wait a minute, I completely missed the target, which I have to agree with because I just missed the target. So that's what we do with the path gates. Set them up, get me on the start line, let me find my break, make it a game. It's a lot of fun, and start with the same every time. You're going to find that your players are going to practice their long distance putting more. They're going to be a lot more accurate. Speed then becomes much easier.